when a homeowner is considering a roof replacement, what are the first things that they should be paying attention to?
Well, typically it starts off with one leak, right? You have a minor leak.
And what are the most common roof issues that happen in your service area in those counties?
Ventilation is something I'm coming across a lot in New Jersey.
So what are some of the biggest scams or, upsells you see in the roofing industry right now? Like, what are some of the things that homeowners should look out for?
Yeah, so really the big thing that I see is a lot of smaller guys will come in with...
How is technology changing in the roofing industry, and what are you guys doing to stay ahead of that?
Yeah, I mean, technology is amazing, actually.
How do you guys focus on that customer experience and customer communication at TETTI?
We actually have one of our packages, we do a 10-day installation guarantee.
What is the one thing that most New Jersey homeowners don't realize about their roof?
They should be paying attention to the roof. It's not just, hey, you have it installed today. And
does a roof only need to be checked if you see a leak inside the house?
No, going back to this whole thing, I would definitely...
And what's the worst thing a homeowner can do that ends up costing them money down the road?
Hiring the cheapest contractor by far.
What areas of Jersey do you cover mostly?
So we are based out of Somerset County, New Jersey, Bridgewater specifically.
You're in New Jersey, you're hungry. What's the recommended restaurant for you?
100% if you want Italian food, the best Italian restaurant in New Jersey.
Hey, welcome to the Jersey Home Pros podcast. Today we're going to talk about finding the right roofing contractor and what it takes to get your roofing project done in the best way possible with the best contractor and make sure everything comes out to your expectations. Today we're here with Teddy, Slack with TETTI Roofing. How are you today, man?
I'm good, Jim. I'm good. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So Teddy, you've been in the Jersey area for a while. You have TETTI Roofing. Take us back. How did you get started in the home service industry? What was the journey for you?
Sure. So it kind of goes back to my grandfather, really. I'm third generation entrepreneur. My grandfather he has heavy equipment. He had excavators and backhoes and dump trucks. He would dig out graves at graveyards, and he would take the topsoil and he would turn the soil to topsoil and he would sell it. And then he started digging excavations for oil tanks, and he would install oil tanks in the ground in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Then my father came up, and when he got to 20, 25 years old, he started a landscaping company, and then he went from landscaping to environmental, got into commercial environmental work where he did big underground oil tank work, oil tanks, gas tanks, diesel tanks. So I grew up, as a young guy, 4 years old, a little kid, basically, on my grandfather's backhoe, driving his dump truck, with my days off at school, and then working with my father when he had his business. Every summer, every holiday, I didn't ever hang with friends. I went to work. That's what we did. I always went to work and just got dragged around, dropped off at different job sites. So after college, I went to work for the family business. I started a residential division for environmental services. We did underground oil tanks, and we did environmental cleanups when they leaked. In New Jersey, a lot of people don't realize this. In the Northeast, a lot of homes were built and they used oil to heat their homes. And these tanks that were put in by my grandfather in the 50s and 60s, they would corrode because they only had a lifespan of 25 years. So once they corrode, now the oil goes in the ground and you have to do a big environmental cleanup, and you can't sell a home unless you take care of this. So we were in the business to help homeowners remove these tanks and do the environmental cleanup. So I did that with the family business from 2005 upwards till about 2009. Unfortunately, my mother passed away. She had cancer, and she was part of the family business. Made things really tough working for family business. If anybody's ever worked for family business, sometimes it could get really difficult. I decided to go off on my own. 2009, I started my own residential division, and I grew that to be a very successful environmental business, which I exited in 2022. And I've been doing some consulting since 22, and I've consulted with other home service contractors. I've consulted in the roofing space. I actually had the roof done in my house. And then I also renovated 24 homes in a 36-month period where I got to really understand home renovations, where I got to understand subcontractors, and I dealt with upwards of 20 to 24 subcontractors for one build. We would do new construction builds, complete gut renovations, attic levels, and we would build them and sell them, and I got comfortable in the trades. And that's why I decided, I'm starting to understand this. I really like the business model in roofing. I see that there was an opportunity there because in roofing, as you know better than anybody, there's guys in this industry that are, we call them chucks in the truck, one-man operation to all the way upwards of private equity guys. And, there's not a lot in between. So I saw the opportunity there to help homeowners to understand, what does a good roofing contractor look like? And that's what I'm doing now, just basically getting this thing going and getting it off the ground and helping homeowners with any roofing needs with replacements or repairs.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, when a homeowner is considering a roof replacement, whether it's just the age of the roof or, they're noticing some leaks, what are the first things that they should be paying attention to?
Well, typically it starts off with one leak, right? You have a minor leak and it's, you see something on the sheetrock and you're saying, oh, I got a little minor leak. Well, that's usually how it starts. And a lot of times we can repair those. Depending on the age of the home, if it's 10, 12, even 15 years old, depending on the shingle condition, we could come in and do a spot repair, I call it. We come in, we could swap out some shingles, maybe, fix around the penetrations if something is leaking with the penetrations, and we could do a repair. But a lot of times that's not, it's not the case. So let's say the roof is 20 years old, 25 years old, the shingles are real brittle, it's not real repairable, then you're going to be looking at a full roof replacement.
Yeah. I think I always see it a lot of times, from a homeowner's perspective, roof is expensive, man. And so we're always, as a homeowner, I want to get my roof repaired first. Right? What's the process that a homeowner should go through to make sure that they're being taken care of and getting the right decision? Can we repair this? Can we replace this? What's that process in your mind?
So we have two buckets when our clients call in. So it's really, the first bucket is we have the clients that are not sure, right? And they want to do the repair. Hey, if we could get them an extra 2, 3, 4 years of life out of that roof, then we're going to try to do that. And they usually call in and they usually say, I have one little minor leak, or my roof is, I had this little minor issue. Can you come take a look at it? So we will come out and do an inspection. That's the first step in that process. Now, we do have a second bucket of homeowners that call and say, my roof's 25 years old. It's not leaking yet, but it's at the end of the lifespan. I need a new roof, And so at that point, we can do an over the phone evaluation. We could measure the roof through satellite imagery, and we could give them a price right over the phone. It's a 15, 20-minute consultation. So it really depends on the homeowner and what their requirements are, what their needs are. But if it's a repairable thing, we're going to want to come out and get our eyes on it, walk the roof, fly our drone, do a proper inspection, and then report back to them whether or not it is something that can be repaired.
So if a homeowner is having a roof inspection done by TETTI or another roofing company, what should they make sure the roofing contractor does? Like, is there a specific process that you follow, or are there very specific things that you do, things that you check that maybe if you don't check this, you're missing something?
So yeah, a lot of times we start the inspection in the attic. We're going to start the inspection there. We want to make sure that you have the proper ventilation. A lot of guys miss that, right? So if the ventilation is not done properly, if the roof was installed 10, 15 years ago and it doesn't have the proper ventilation, that the life of that roof is going to be a lot shorter than a typical roof that's installed properly. So we're going to check with the ventilation. We're going to see if there is an actual active leak. We're going to try to identify it. And sometimes that could be hard, as you know, when you get on a roof, where is that? It could be one small nail head where that small leak is coming in. So we want to identify where the leak is first. That is the first thing that we're going to do by starting in the attic and try to trace where that water leak is coming from. And then we get on the roof and we're going to try to identify the exact point of the intrusion of the leak there. But, really it comes down to, is that roof repairable? Again, it comes down to the age of the roof, the age of the shingles. If the shingles are completely baked because it doesn't have good ventilation and it's only 15, maybe it's not going to be repairable. It just really depends,
So on the other side of that, for a homeowner listening, if they have someone come out to do an inspection on their roof and check things out, what are some red flags that they should look for if that person comes out?
So here's the thing in roofing space, and this is what I've learned since being in the space. A lot of the companies that are in roofing, they don't actually offer repairs, right? So they may advertise or market for repairs, and they come out and they want to do what's called an upsell. They want to upsell you to a roof replacement right away because they don't actually have in-house guys that can do the repairs. A lot of these guys use subcontractors, which the majority of the industry does, which nothing wrong with that. The problem with that is if you don't have in-house guys, the subcontractors don't like to come out for a small repair, so they don't offer actual repairs. So you got to be very wary of contractors coming out trying to tell you that you need a roof replacement. I would get a second and third opinion 100% before I would go ahead with a full roof replacement, because a lot of guys will tell you need a roof replacement, but in reality, you can do a minor repair. Actually, the next video I'm creating on YouTube is actually when can you repair your roof versus when you should replace it. And we're going to dive into some of those things about, and I'm going to show photos of houses that we've been on and why I recommend a replacement versus a repair. And that's what you have to look out for, because a lot of guys will try to push you into that replacement prematurely, in my opinion, because a lot of times you can get an extra 2, 3, 4 years out of it, which, that's everything in a $15,000, $20,000 roof. I mean, if you could squeeze another 2, 3 years out of it, hold your money, keep your money in your pocket,
The cost of a roof has definitely not gone down, TETTI. It's,
it keeps going up every quarter. I get notifications from my supply house. It keeps going up.
That's right. You'd mentioned like a different type of inspection that you could do with satellite imagery and do a full quote for someone,
Yes.
Virtually, essentially. Explain that process.
Yeah, so it's a very unique process. What I'm finding in the industry, most contractors, the way it works, when you call them for an estimate, you're going to find a couple different things. Some of the guys won't even call you back for a couple days. So obviously that's a red flag. If they're not going to call you back to give you a quote, you probably don't want to hire them to do your roof. That's number one. Then you're going to get the other side of the coin where the guys call you back instantly. And then they want to ask you, hey, do you have both decision makers? We want to come in your home and we want to present to you. And they're going to want to sit in your home. They're going to do a full inspection. They do a proper inspection of your roof. But they're going to then sit you at a kitchen table with both decision makers there, and they're going to try to basically twist your arm to saying yes for that roof replacement. And they're trained, highly trained salespeople that come in there, and they really don't want to take no for an answer. It's very high pressure sales. It's in a lot of home services, really. It's not just roofing, right? So it's a lot of home services operate that way. And we do things a little bit differently. So we basically, if we know you need a roof replacement, if you call our company and you say, hey, I need a roof replacement. My roof's 25 years old. I just need a number to replace it. We could have satellite imagery done, which would actually measure your roof, will give us all the measurements we need to formulate a proposal. And then we call you over like similar to a Zoom, but it's not Zoom. It's very simple to log in. You get a presentation. We present to you, 3 different options depending on your situation, right? So you may be selling that house in 2 years. If you're selling the home in 2 years, we're going to present you and recommend one option. If you tell me, hey, this is my last house, I'm staying here for 25 years, we have an option for you there as well. There's no pressure. It's literally 15 or 20 minutes. And then you can decide with your significant other whenever you feel like the right time is, you guys can discuss it and you can come back to us. So we're not going to pressure you. And that's what makes us different. And I think it's going to help us stick out in the crowd,
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point that you brought up. In how long am I going to have this house? I don't know if a lot of homeowners think about that. How do you help them with that, guide them through that process of, hey, if this is a 5-year home versus this is a lifetime home?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it comes down to how much protection you want. So our packages, they're all basically surrounds protection. If you want max protection, that's our high-end package. That comes with a 20-year workmanship warranty. It comes with a 50-year manufacturer warranty. It comes with an additional bond. So it gives you the most protection you can get for that roof for the longest period of time. So if you want to stay in that house forever, well, that's the package that we would recommend. Now, if you tell me you're moving in 2 or 3 years and you still want a decent warranty, but you don't want to spend all that money for the extra protection, we have an essentials package where we basically could offer you a 2-year workmanship warranty and a 20-year manufacturer warranty. And it's a still great product. We still install an amazing roof. It just has less of the protection that you would get with like a max protection package. So it really just comes down to the length that you plan on staying there and how much protection you're looking to get for your home,
What would make that decision for me? Because, I kind of think, well, man, I'd love the most protection, but maybe I'm not staying in this house. Why would I weigh those two options? Why would I say, well, maybe what would help me with that decision?
Well, it really comes down to how much you want to spend, right? So we offer financing in-house, so we can offer you payment terms and whatnot. So that will definitely help with your decision, but it comes down to the numbers. I mean, the difference in pricing between our bottom package and our high-end package is a couple $1,000s. I mean, it's definitely not, a couple $100. It's a significant amount of money right when you're thinking about it. So again, if you're moving and you're not going to stay there for 2 years, it's just like, if you're going to move, you're not going to put a ton of money into your home if you're going to look to get out of it in 2 years. Now, if you want to increase the value of your home, our max protection package will help with that because you could then pitch it to the new buyer and say, hey, I bought the best package I could with the roof. You're protected for the next 50 years. So it could go both ways. It really just depends on how much you want to spend at the end of the day. And we could break that down by, how much it is per month if you finance it or what the total cost is really.
Is that something to think about? Like what I heard you is the lifetime. Talk about that. Do you have warranties, guarantees? Like what comes along with that type of package?
Yeah, so it's very important that homeowners understand that there's 3 types of warranties that you really need to understand when buying a roof for your home. You have number one, you have the manufacturer warranty. So the manufacturer warranty is whatever type of shingle, whatever manufacturer built that material, they're going to offer you a warranty. Now, depending on the level of certification that the contractor has, that will determine on the level of warranty you get from the manufacturer. That's number one. Number 2 is the workmanship warranty. Workmanship warranty is offered by the company that you hire to install it. So it's very important that if you're getting a workmanship warranty that that company is going to be around for a while, because if they tell you, hey, you have a 20-year workmanship warranty and they go out of business in 5 years, well, that workmanship warranty is no good for you. So that's number 2. Third, and this is something that I'm really, really excited about, is the bonding that we offer through Contractor Directory. They offer a $250,000 bond on top that sits on top of both the manufacturer and the workmanship warranty. So God forbid your manufacturer warranty denies the claim, which, as we know, insurance, that happens all the time, right? So if they deny your claim, you have a third party to go to basically, put a second claim in. Same thing for the workmanship. If you put a workmanship warranty claim in and that company's not in business anymore, or something, God forbid, happened to our company, you have a third party company to go to and put a claim in. So that's what we call the third warranty or slash bond, which is very important in my opinion.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that before in terms of the three types. I've heard of workmanship warranty and, I've heard manufacturer's warranties, but this third layer, is that something unique that you guys do, or what is that?
So it's very unique, actually. It's a pretty new program that's been out for a little while now. There's about a dozen contractors in New Jersey that have been vetted. They have to be vetted properly, do a proper background check. They look into your employees, into the owners of the company. They make sure you have the proper insurances. So they have to get vetted. So a lot of contractors obviously don't want to open up their books and open up all their, insurances and all the, their background checks. They don't feel comfortable with that. But we're very comfortable with it. We've been vetted, we've been checked, we're approved, and we're one of roughly 12 contractors in the state of New Jersey that offer it. So I always tell my homeowners, if you're going to start by getting a couple of different proposals, start with that contractor directory list. You could go right to their website and you could search by state, and then that takes it from thousands of contractors in New Jersey down to 12. And then you could work off that list of 12 because right off the bat that they are already vetted contractors by way of background checks and insurance and whatnot.
Yeah, that's really important. In New Jersey, what are some of the licensing requirements, insurance requirements that you want to make sure that the contractor you hire has?
Yeah, so here's the problem with the roofing industry. Unlike the environmental where I came from, environmental, it was a huge barrier of entry. You need to have a lot of insurance, a lot of licensing. Your employees need to be licensed to even go out and pull an oil tank. So everybody had to be licensed. You need heavy equipment. So it's very difficult to get into that industry. There's probably a dozen guys in the entire state that did that service essentially. With roofing, if you look up, there's thousands of roofers just in New Jersey alone. Here's the thing, with insurance and licensing, it's literally a one-page application. It's all that's required in New Jersey is a home improvement contractor's license. It's a one-page application. Within 5 weeks, you're a licensed contractor. Now, that doesn't mean you're certified. If you have a lot of contractors out there, I believe it's about 70% of them that are not certified. So it's when I say certified, that's through the manufacturer. That whatever shingle that they're installing, they're going to be certified from that manufacturer. So you want to make sure they're a certified contractor. They have a home improvement contractor's license at minimum, because if they don't have that, forget it. They have to have at least that, have to be certified, and insurance. You have the proper general liability and workman comp insurance for sure.
Okay. That's awesome. That's good information to know. In the Jersey area, the weather may not be the same. What areas of Jersey do you cover mostly?
So we are based out of Somerset County, New Jersey, Bridgewater specifically. That's our main office. So we obviously, Somerset County, Hunterdon County, Middlesex County, those are the three surrounding counties that we really concentrate on. That's our backyard. We're within 15, 20 miles of that market. And we will go outside of those counties, but that's kind of where our focus is, on those three counties specifically.
And what are the most common roof issues that happen in your service area in those counties?
Like I said before, ventilation is something I'm coming across a lot in New Jersey, where these roofs were put in with not the proper ventilation. Maybe the house was built, it's very old, even 1800s. We have some areas that have really older homes and they don't have the proper ventilation. So we have to talk about putting an intake ventilation on the roof, and we have to fix that because you're not going to get the proper lifespan of the roof. So we come across a lot of issues with ventilation, things that are going on in the attic space that need to be checked out and rectified before we put the new roof on.
If there's people listening from outside of your service area, is it still okay to give you a call, pick your brain, get some information?
Absolutely, yeah. We will cover. We pretty much go anywhere in the state. If we get a call, even if you're in any part of the state, we're going to go. But we concentrate our marketing efforts are in our hometown, basically our backyard within a 3-county radius. New Jersey is very densely populated, right? So there's a lot of homes just in those 3 counties. And the way we look at it is like we give the best customer service possible if we concentrate in those 3 counties. Obviously, we'll go outside of those. If we get the calls, we're going to go as well. But anybody that wants to call and has questions, I have a YouTube channel where I put out a lot of content, and I'm constantly saying, hey, call or text this number anytime. Even if you're out, I don't care if you're in a different state and you're just looking for some feedback on the contractor you hired, I'm always open for that.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned the term private equity, and from a homeowner perspective, we don't think about private equity. What do you mean? Like you'd said, like private equity in the home services. Like, what should a homeowner think about in terms of that?
So you're not going to ever find a contractor, any home service contractor, that's going to put out there on their website that they're owned by private equity. They don't put it out there, right? It's not really something that's out in the public. So a lot of people don't understand what that means. But essentially what it means is private equity is a bunch of investors that pool money together and they go out and they buy home service companies and lots of companies, but let's just talk home service. They buy home service companies, they roll them up, which means they combine them together. So you have a bunch of different owners that combine them. And then the whole point of it is to grow the profit margins of these companies so they could have a big exit within 3 to 5 years. That's their whole game. So their main concern is the bottom line, right? That's what they're concerned about. So what does that mean for you as a homeowner? Well, they have to squeeze as much profit out of you as possible. They're putting on the same exact materials as we are. Okay. We're putting on the same exact material. A lot of times we have the same crews that are coming out to do the installations. Okay. So, but you're going to pay a lot less when you come to a locally operated company like ourselves because we don't have all that overhead. We're not so much concerned about the bottom line. We're more concerned about customer service because we want you to give us a referral. You want you to tell your neighbors about us, and that's how we're going to stay in business for a very long time.
There's a lot of big roofing companies in Jersey like that I would assume maybe that's the indication that they're private equity owned. Like how does someone even have any idea?
The first
price that they give.
Well, yeah, yes. Number one, is a couple of things. Number one, if they get on the phone with you and they tell you need both decision makers and they want to come and do a presentation at home, that's usually an indication, red flag. Okay, number one. Number two, sometimes they'll tell you they have multiple locations on their website and they're all throughout the country. Sometimes even these guys that are, will actually put on their website, we have multiple locations or nationwide or even regional. That's usually a hint that it's private equity. And then the other thing is the high pressure sales. If they come to your home and they literally don't want to, take no for an answer and they try to convince you that, you have to do it today. If you do it today, we're going to give you a special price, especially if it's, let me call my owner and see if I can get the price lowered. If you sign today, like these type of tactics or, indications right away that these are highly trained sales reps that usually are backed by private equity.
Okay. So what are some of the biggest scams or, upsells you see in the roofing industry right now? Like what are some of the things that homeowners should look out for?
Yeah, so really the big thing that I see is a lot of smaller guys will come in with low prices and you'll think, wow, this is a great price. So if you're shopping by price specifically, you have to look out for guys that are coming in. A lot of times they don't have the proper certification, they don't have the proper insurances. And then what they do is they give you a low price, but then they'll come in, they're not telling you about all the upcharges. Some of the upcharges you have to look out for is when they have to replace the decking, the plywood that's underneath the shingles. So they'll say as a line item, it's $100 or $120 per piece, whatever it is. And you don't really know. I mean, a lot of times you're not even home when they're doing the job or you're inside working or you're not really paying attention and they tell you, hey, I had to replace 20 sheets of plywood. Well, they didn't take any photos. They didn't do anything to document it. And now you just have to take their word for it. That's like a $3,000 upcharge. So you hired the guy because he was 14 grand and you turned down the guy for 17 or 18. And, there you go. They are in the same ballpark. It's just, you weren't, told up front on what the additional, so look out for those types of upcharges. Also additional layers. Contractors are charging for extra layers. You got to make sure that you actually have extra layers because that could be significant upcharge as well. We do things a little differently. We give you a flat rate. We include a certain amount of wood depending on the package you choose. So our highest package includes 10 sheets of wood. So it's really a flat price. The majority of the times, you're never going to go over that price. So it's really one flat price that we're offering you.
That's a great information. You had mentioned before that in some of the inspections you do, you guys use drones. How is technology changing in the roofing industry, and what are you guys doing to stay ahead of that?
Yeah, I mean, the technology is amazing, actually. In roofing specifically, drone inspections. We love our drones. I mean, a lot of these roofs in Jersey are really high pitched. I mean, you're not going to get up on there. I mean, just for insurance purposes, you're going to go do an estimate. You're not going to tie off to go look at someone's roof, right? And most of the time, again, if these roofs are 20, 25 years old, then you already know it's going to get replaced. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to go and walk the roof. So drones are great for those types of homes where we're super high pitch. We can fly our drone, we can get our eyes on it and kind of see what's going on. Same thing for repairs. I mean, if we want to get, instead of climbing up there, we can fly our drone. We get really close, high definition, zoom in, take photos, and document everything. So drones are great. And then the back end part is really with the proposal presentation and whatnot. It's really amazing now. I mean, a lot of old school guys, not just in roofing, but any home service contractors, what they do, they're old school. So a lot of stuff is handwritten, and they're sending you via maybe email or even worst case snail mail. So we can operate where we email you within a few minutes a proposal. It could all be signed electronically. So we're very efficient, very fast. Our communication is top notch. We answer every phone call. We respond quickly. We allow text messages. We love text messages. So, whatever we can do with technology to try to help and assist in keeping the projects moving along and keep that communication flowing with the homeowner is what we try to do.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge from a homeowner's perspective with contractors, not just roofing contractors, but, is that communication. Sometimes it's so hard to get them on the phone, even to have them come out and, look at your home and see what's going on. I've heard horror stories along the way of like, man, I signed a contract and I can't get a hold of the person. I don't know when they're coming out. I don't know what. How do you guys focus on that customer experience and customer communication at TETTI?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we actually have one of our packages. We do a 10-day installation guarantee. So what that means is the day you sign the contract, and as long as weather permitting, because obviously that's the only thing we can't control, but weather permitting, we're going to guarantee you that roof is going to be installed and completed within 10 days. And after that 10-day period, if we don't get out there, we actually give you $100 off. When we'll cut you a check before we even come to your house. It's $100 per day that we don't meet those requirements. So we're guaranteeing you basically that we're going to have your roof done within 10 days. And if we don't, we're going to pay you $100 per day for every day we're late. And as far as contractors that take deposits, that's actually one of the things that the bonding company that we work with, that I spoke about before, they protect you from that. So if you ever had heard of an experience where a homeowner gave a deposit and the contractor disappeared, obviously we're not going to do that. But if we did do that and you have the bond that protects you, that company will step in and they will give you your money back. So you're completely protected with that third-party bond, which is amazing.
That's awesome, man. Sounds like you guys have been very thoughtful in how to serve the homeowners very well. Where did the TETTI name come from? I know your name is TETTI, but where did TETTI Roofing come from?
Yeah, so when I was deciding on a name for the business, it's because there's so many contractors. It's not like the environmental business where I had 12 guys. I could just come up with a name. There's thousands of roofers, and every time I pick the name, I'm like, this is the one. And you go and look up and it's taken, right? So it's very difficult to come up with a name. So I finally just started thinking about like family, right? So I come from a big family. I have 7 children of my own, me and my fiance. So we have a very big family. My mother, who I spoke about earlier, she helped me with my first business. She was part of the family business. She taught me a lot about finance and doing the books and accounting. That's what she did for my father and his business. So she passed away, unfortunately, of cancer. She was Italian, the best Italian cook ever known to man. I took it for granted as a kid because I didn't know any better. Now that I'm an adult and I have kids, I'm like, wow, my mother was amazing. She really did. She cooked meals for the entire neighborhood almost every night for just me and my sister and my father, which was amazing. But so yeah, she was Italian, and TETTI, T-E-T-T-I, is roofing in Italian. So it's a little bit of a play on words, and it's a little bit of a homage to my mother, who unfortunately passed away, and that's kind of how we came up with the name.
That's awesome, man. That's a great story. It sounds like you're doing some really cool stuff. I want to just hit you with a few kind of rapid fire questions here. What is the one thing that most New Jersey homeowners don't realize about their roof?
They should be paying attention to the roof. It's not just, hey, you have it installed today and don't worry about it until it leaks. You really should be doing maintenance, at least every 24 to 36 months. And we offer a service where we could come out. We do what's called a roof tune-up. We could come out, we could reseal all the penetrations, check any loose shingles, any popped nails, that type of stuff, to make sure your roof is going to get the proper length, lifespan that it needs.
Awesome. Does a roof only need to be checked if you see a leak inside the house?
No, going back to this whole thing, I would definitely every 24 to 36 months, I would do this roof tune-up, or at least have us come and walk the roof and just check it. Really, I mean, if you're going to have your gutters clean, every year typically, right? So you want to stay on top of the gutters to make sure that any water is not going to back up in between the shingles to get into the house. So you want to stay up with the gutter maintenance. But as far as the roof itself, yeah, every 24 to 36 months, we recommend having someone like ourselves come out and at least walk that roof to make sure everything is dialed in.
Awesome. And what's the worst thing a homeowner can do that ends up costing them money down the road?
Hiring the cheapest contractor by far. I mean, especially in the roofing space, a lot of fly-by-night guys, a lot of guys that aren't properly backed. They don't have the right certifications, the right insurances. You definitely don't want to hire the cheapest guy. I mean, you could find guys that could literally go to Home Depot and buy the materials and slap it on your roof. But if you have an issue with that roof in a year, 2, 3, 5 years, you're going to be, you have no one to go to, kind of put in a claim or whatever. So you want to make sure you don't want to hire the cheapest guy. You also don't want to hire the most expensive guy, because why pay twice as much when you could have the same type of material, the same good quality certifications and manufacturer warranties, and of course the bonding that we offer for a good quality price. That's what you should be looking for.
Awesome. And so we're proud to announce that TETTI Roofing is now the officially on the Black Book directory. How can people find you? What other types of contractors can they find in the network?
Yeah, so we're really excited about this. I'm actually the host of the Jersey Home Pro podcast, and I'm honored to have you host this today. And because I've been following your podcast for a while, and I feel really highly about you, and very excited to have you to host this episode here. But yeah, I mean, we've interviewed guys, anyone that helps homeowners, right? So if you own a home, you're going to want to listen into this podcast, because we're diving into basically stories of different home contractors, of how they started, what they do that's different, how can they help homeowners, what are the red flags homeowners should look out for. We have guys that are anywhere from carpet cleaning guys to electricians to chimney guys, and we're bringing on new guys. We're trying to bring guys every week, every 2 weeks, and try to build out this network of it's a directory really for Jersey homeowners, to help them. So if they have questions about any service they need in their home, they could go to this directory and they could find a contractor, get to listen to them, know and like and trust hopefully the owner of that company, and then eventually hire them.
Awesome, man. You talked about the amazing food that your mother cooked for you, your family, and the neighborhood. Unfortunately, with her passing, we can't go get Mama's Sunday meal. You're in New Jersey, you're hungry. What's the recommended restaurant for you?
100%. If you want Italian food, the best Italian restaurant in New Jersey is Bonito's. It's in Union, New Jersey. Best Italian food by far. And that's my recommendation. If you want good quality Italian food, you got to go to Bonito's.
Awesome. Well, if you're looking for a great contractor, check out the Black Book directory. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jim.